Good afternoon, friends. This is Sergey Kromchenko from Los Angeles, California, and today we're going to have a very special guest of ours. Her name is Kristina. You guys have seen her about 3 months ago on one of the videos, link to which I'm going to add right here. Anyways, this is going to be my favorite interview. You ask why? Because she's going to share her step-by-step, not instruction, but pretty much her step-by-step experience that she went through during 6 rounds of interview with 7 people that lasted for 8 damn hours. Can you imagine it? Anyways, it did not go through one day with that many people and that many rounds of interview, that many hours, but still, that's quite a lot to get a single job, which she got, and she will talk about it in a couple of minutes. Anyways, I do enjoy it, especially because when I was getting my first QA job, before I got it, I watched a lot of interviews just like this one with Kristina, where people would say and would share their experiences about actually passing an interview. They would share what questions did they get and how did they answer. So if you want to learn more, if you want to get prepared for the next round of interview to get a 100+ K job offer in the QA field, watch it. And by the way, our next group starts on August 29th. If you guys are still interested in joining our class, we're gonna add a link right below in the description. Enjoy this video. Hey Kristina, good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
It's been a while. We haven't seen you for how many? For 5 months? I think 5 months, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe even shorter, maybe like 2 months or something. Well, welcome back. Nice seeing you again.
Likewise.
It's a pleasure to get some updates from you. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be happy to see you again and to hear new updates from your life.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with your story. So you previously were on our channel. We're going to add a link to your video right there. So you became an intern after like 3 months of education, even before you finished the course, maybe even after 2 and something. So you became an intern, and then recently you got a new job offer for the QA engineer position, and you said that you went through quite a lot of interviews, right?
Yep.
Do you want to tell us, actually, before we get started, do you want to quickly tell us who you are, where you're coming from, and how did you get to this point? And then we're going to go from here and talk more about the interview.
So
just remind everyone.
Just to remind, okay, I came from Kazakhstan, so I've been living in Los Angeles in the United States, Los Angeles for 6.5 years now. I worked as a partner success manager for a little bit over 2 years. Then I was tired of what I was doing. I wanted to switch my career path. Then I stumbled upon this course. I decided to take it. I took it. So then I was hired for a cocoa delivery. After 3 months going through the course, I was hired as a contractor. I worked for 3 months. I think 3.5 months, and then I received a full-time offer because they liked the performance, and basically it took me some time to sign all the documentations, and in a couple of weeks I got laid off along with the whole QA team and other 40 people. And so recently I seen on LinkedIn they still keep laying off people, so sad.
Yep. Second round of layoffs.
Yeah. But I didn't give up. I didn't let myself be actually like sad for a long time. I just updated my resume. I started apply. I didn't apply so many for so many companies. I just stick to certain. I was selective. Only 2 companies returned to me, and I had interview with both companies. With one company, I had just 1 round of interview, but they said before the interview started that they're going to take their time to find the perfect candidate. It's going to take months, whatever. So I didn't take it seriously. And there was another company that I had 6 rounds of interviews.
6 rounds of interviews.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, the max that I had was like 3 or 4. I believe 3 was the max. I don't think I ever had more than 3. And now you're talking about 6 rounds of interviews. Sounds like Google. Are you working for Google or something?
No, it's not Google, but they probably take it so seriously.
Whoa, that's cool. That's
Yes.
cool. Well, before we get to it, can you tell us how long did it take to find a new job? Because now there's a recession. It's hard to find a job. People are getting laid off, as you got laid off as well. But how long did it take you to get the job after you started applying for it?
All right, so I got laid off end of June.
Mhm.
In a couple of days, I updated my resume, started to apply. So it took me maybe a little bit over a month, but just because of the interviewing process was so long, 7 rounds of interview probably took like good 3 or 4 weeks, you know. So
You
that's
said
why.
six.
That's
You said
why
6 or 7?
six rounds of interview.
Mhm.
Just 7 people. 6 rounds of interview, 7 people.
Got it.
Yes.
Makes sense.
So I would say a month, a little bit more than a month, but just because of a long process of interview.
Mhm. Got it. So just 1 month to find a job when recession started. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. I would say not bad at all.
Yeah. Taking into account that I didn't have so much experience on my resume, just 3.5 months of contracting.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 interviews. I mean, 2 companies you went for, 2 companies you had interviews with. You got 1 job offer. So 50% success. Not bad at all, I can say. Nice. And actually, yeah, that was pretty much your first, aka second job. Cool. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the process? I'm pretty sure everyone is excited. Like, okay, tell me, how the hell does it work? 6 goddamn interviews.
That's all I say, just because of my charisma. but it's a joke. Of course, you need to be knowledgeable.
Mhm.
So the first round was with a QA manager.
Mhm.
So the interview was as long as for 2 hours. For 2 hours,
2 hours.
I was like, what is gonna be the next step? 3 hour interview. So it was just for 2 hours, but basically it
Mhm.
was not just to check the vibe if we go along, also technical. So he was
Got it.
asking some technical questions. Yeah. So the second round was with two
Okay,
senior QA
sorry
automation.
for interruption. Let's start with the first one. So
Okay.
tell us about the first round. So that was with the QA manager, right?
Correct.
Cool. And you said he was also asking technical questions. Do you remember anything that he was asking? I'm pretty sure a lot of people will learn from it before they even get to their first interview. Because that's kind of the experience that I had before I even went for QA. I watched a lot of people on the YouTube talking about how they went through the education process, how they went through the interview, how did they get the job. So that's the best value that people can get from this course. So from this video. So let's please get them that value.
Yeah. All right. So he was asking me about error codes. Can you tell me how would you run API testing manual? How would you set up the topic, body, type of request, get post or whatever? Can you please tell me data types? Some other question: how would I automate login?
How you automate login? Okay,
Login
that's a
page,
very
yeah,
common question.
yeah. Some situational questions. So let's
Such
say
as?
you filed the bug, and developer tells you it's not a bug. What would you do in this situation? Yeah, since I've never had experience being interviewed, having technical interviews, I had to be very careful with that one. So still I answered, but I'm not sure if I was right. But that's kind of like, so I don't know. If I got hired, probably was closer to I was right.
That's right.
So you have to be really careful. You have to probably Google a lot. So they're just trying to see that you're not gonna have conflicts at work. They just want to see how you are capable of managing the situations. Yep. And so that's pretty much what I remember. And it was a lot of questions about, tell me about yourself. Tell me why did you go with our company? please tell
Got
me what. So since the company that I'm gonna work for is a startup, so he was asking,
Yeah,
why do you prefer working for a startup over the bigger companies,
that's a
corporate
great
companies?
question.
That's a great
Also,
question. Yes, and I honestly I love working for startups. That's what I found out, and I explained why. And if someone doesn't know why, should Google it before. Yeah, but because if it's a
why do you
startup,
like it?
most likely the company is gonna ask you because they all
Yeah.
think that they're the best ones. And
Can you just tell people why do you like working for startups?
startups,
Everyone wonders.
just more
Yeah.
more knowledge, just give you more knowledge, a lot of hustle, a lot of working out of time windows, a lot of growth. So startups more taking you seriously as an individual rather than corporate companies where they just give you assignment and then by 6 p.m. you're done and then you go home.
Yeah.
And they do not look at you as an individual that can grow and can build up the career path, can grow within the company. And yes, that this is what I told a QA manager, but if somebody thinks something else.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. Yeah. And by the way, there was the question. Tell me about yourself. We're gonna attach the link to the video right here. I think I've explained how to answer that question very well in the past. And every single QA engineer or any kind of engineer, software engineer, QA engineer, data engineer, etc., should know how to answer that question because in 99% of the cases, that's the first question you get asked during an interview, right?
Yeah, correct. So in my case, I didn't want to talk a lot about the past experience working for different companies, as you thought, all of us. But I found for myself a good way, kind of let them know that I'm being an immigrant, I'm hardworking, and this is what I was doing in like basically a few words, and this is how I get there. So that's what I told them, that I'm from Kazakhstan. I've been living here for 6.5 years. I worked as a partner success manager, managing group of technicians. Then I was not longer satisfied with what I was doing. I decided to switch my career path to IT. I didn't have any IT background. I was just an advanced user. I just wanted to show them how from an immigrant, I got to here, that I'm hardworking and I'm able to learn quickly and pick up quickly, and I'm stubborn and meticulous. I have a lot of attention to details, that I'm passionate about what I'm doing. That's why I decided to a little bit touch the base about my background, that I'm from different country. And I didn't mention that I worked as a waitress previously, photographer, all that stuff. Just my previous experience as a professional, that I already managed a group of technicians. So I'm capable of leading a group. So I thought that it was important to show them.
For sure.
That I'm hardworking, that from the immigrant that just got to the United States, different country, I got already that far for 6.5 years, because some people, even at age 40 with American passport, wouldn't get that far. So that's why I decided to kind of tell that background story a little bit. But then I told them that I took the course, but that's how I presented. I said that I worked as a manual for a couple of years. Then I decided that the market demands automation engineers, and I decided to take the course. So I kind of broke that down a little bit, changed it around. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then I decided to take the course. Then I was hired right away. I was contracting for 3.5 months. Then I got the full-time offer. Then because of all the situation in the country, that affected the company itself, and I got laid off. So now I'm looking for a job and I'm open for the new opportunities. That's how because I thought through this a lot before, because I know even before I was interviewing for different positions, when I was not in the IT field, I already knew that every company asks the same question, and you always need to know what company is doing, what's the goal of the company, what they're doing on the market, what's the person they want to see. Basically, that the application itself is going to have all this like responsibilities, and what they want. The person, you kind of need to read this through and kind of tell them what they want. But keep inner yourself in it with your experience.
Exactly.
So that's what I did.
Nice. Nice. All right. Thank you for sharing how exactly you went with it. So we can probably switch from the first round of interview into the second round. So who was it? What did they ask? And how did it go?
So it was 2 senior QA automation engineers. So it lasted for maybe an hour and a half since there was 2 people.
Nice.
A lot of technical questions, starting from probably they asked me about all the types of testing, integration, unit, stress, load, and so on, regression. Just name it, probably all of them. But good thing that I prepared in advance. Yes, they also ask the same questions about error codes, what they mean. They ask situational questions. Also, they ask same question: what would you do if you if you file the bug and developer tells you that it's not a bug?
So what would you do if you file the bug, but developer tells you it's not a bug?
So again, I'm still not 100% sure that I answered the way it's supposed to be, but that's what I said, that I would try to narrow down as much as I can. And first I said that I've never run into this issue before. And then I mentioned, but if I run into it in the future, that's what I would do. I would try to narrow down as much as I can, change the browsers, spend some more time. And then if there is nothing, so it's been hours and nothing, maybe I will ask somebody in my team. But I would say if I spend a little bit more time, try to narrowing down issue, I would already resolve it. So it wouldn't get like any further, because that's what I said. Sometimes you just forget to do the hard refresh and there is a cookies. So that's why you might say there's actually a bug. But there is a bug, that's what you think, and developer tells you that's not a bug. That's from my experience.
Yeah.
From my experience, because I was not experienced and didn't know that there is such thing besides the just refresh, there is hard refresh that I didn't know. Yeah, that's what I told them. But yeah,
sounds like they like your answer.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So what else did they ask? Did they ask mostly situational behavioral questions? Or
as I said, type of testing, error messages, API testing. There was also a question, please tell me get, post, put, update, request. And also he was asking me, or one of the QA engineers, what's the difference between
put and patch?
No, he was asking me something else. And I told him, I thought you were asking put and patch. I don't know if I made him feel bad or not. Actually, that's what I told him. I thought you would ask me this, but he asked me something else. I don't remember. So also about SQL, and I answered right. So just because I knew that I had this on my resume, and I just went over some basic stuff. So anything I had on my resume, I try to make sure that I get familiar with this. No, that's what you were teaching us.
Yeah.
But you just have to be smart to remember it and apply it, not
Yeah.
Put it through yours. Yeah.
I'm glad you used it.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, okay, I have a secure 50% of chance that they're gonna ask me in second interview. I was asked about it.
Nice.
Yes, and I didn't remember what's exactly, but I answered right because I prepared for it. So that's pretty much it with the second round.
Sounds good. Let's get to the third round. So by the way, how did it happen? Was it like one interview per day for an entire week, or was it multiple weeks? How did it go?
It was kind of scattered. So with QA manager was, let's say, on Monday, and then with QA engineers, it was in a few days, and then the next week, since it's already Friday.
Yeah.
So the next couple of interview was the following week, and then because I flew to my home country Just it took some time to arrive, and then they let me to get some rest, and then they scheduled another interview, and then by the end of the week that was the last one. Yeah, it was kind of like scattered, not one day after another.
Yeah. Makes sense. Sounds good. All right. Well, can you tell us about a third round, which we're pretty much halfway there?
Okay, so it was with front-end engineer, and it lasted for like an hour.
Oh, cool. That must be interesting. Because I remember usually they ask some questions about your life, what you like to do for fun, or did they ask anything? Did they ask a lot of QA questions and technical questions?
A lot of QA questions. Nothing personal, cool. but the business. That's what I feel. But the front end engineer was more cheerful. I had more like connection rather than the back end. Very knowledgeable.
I hope they're not going to hear that
guy, but yeah, of course, but very serious. Very serious. So it was. He asked me. He just shared the screen with me, the login page, and the codes, lines of codes, and he asked me, "Can you please tell me what you see?" Well, let's say I see that there was a email field, password field, forgot the link. Yeah, that stuff. And he asked me how would I automate it. I explained detailedly. Also, he asked something about try and catch, how you automate the error message. And he asked me, believe it or not, he asked me, so you have a degree in economics. How did you end up switching to IT? And again, in a few words, I tried to explain that I came from a different country, and then it takes some time to get on your feet. Then you get your work authorization, then you start looking for a better job, office job. I worked as a partner success manager, and then I didn't like what I was doing. And then I took the course, got my experience working as a QA engineer. And that's why I said, because I was no longer interested in going to university for another 5 years.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I was trying to see how can I get into industry faster and do what I like. Yeah. That's the question he asked, and that's pretty much it with third round, because he was showing me a lot of pieces of code, and he was asking me, please explain what you see.
How were you able to answer all of these questions based on the limited amount of knowledge that you had learned within 5 months of our course and some 3 months of a contract job? How were you able to read it? Can you tell me?
Actually, it was my first interview, right? Since the first job that I got went through without interviews. I got lucky that I was hired right away. I was actually so surprised. I had no doubt in myself, but I was so surprised that I knew so much just in short period of time. But again, thank you so much to this person. Because in such short period of time, you were trying to give us so much information. And definitely because I'm a hardworking person, I'm persistent, I have attention, I have so much patience. I'm meticulous, and I never give up. If I started something,
that's for sure.
I'm gonna finish it. Especially, I have to have a lot of patience in IT, since it's something completely different,
mind blowing
from everything. And I was preparing myself for this interview, just like I would prepare myself for examination at school, university. I would go through notes. I would Google a lot of stuff. And I know you always help your students. You always give so much information, so many notes, a lot of pages, like 16, 20 pages preparation for the interview. I went through those. And also I forgot to mention that the previous 2 rounds, the first 2 rounds, they were asking me also about, do you have experience with writing test cases, test plans? Yep.
Sounds good.
So that's gonna be it for the third round.
All right, we're halfway there. Cool. So 3 rounds seems like were easy to pass somewhat. How about a fourth round? Who
No,
was it?
I was still sweating. Oh my God. You can imagine when the third round was done, second round, I was like, oh my God. I was like, how many more are there? My face turned red. You cannot imagine. And I felt like, I don't know how I found so much strength in myself and how I found that so much information that was hidden somewhere in my head far
Mhm.
away. So
Yep,
just
yep.
get that out.
Sounds good. All right. Well, if let's say it was not easy to pass, but you still got through 3 rounds of interviews. Tell us about a fourth round. Who was it with? How long did it take?
Uh, it took about an hour. I was with
Mm-hmm.
a backend engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this guy got the assignment. Like, please make this girl give up or I don't know, lose or whatever. And he tried his best to have a huge list of questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He asked me how to automate clear cookies, and I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that since I've
Mm-hmm.
never had experience of doing this. Maybe I've glanced once, but obviously, if you don't have experience, if you haven't tried doing this
Yeah.
yourself, you wouldn't memorize it. Um, he asked me about try and catch, and then
Mm-hmm.
also same questions about API. Then
Mm-hmm.
he asked, what else he asked me? Just slip of my mind. Um, he asked me about React.
React. Cool. Okay, so front end development. What did he ask you about React?
Are you familiar with this? Said that I've heard about it. I know that developers using
Mm-hmm.
it, but I never had experience working with it yet. It's
Mm-hmm.
good thing to add yet.
Exactly. Thank you for doing
So,
that.
but definitely, how would you clear cookies? Some algorithms. He asked me about while loop, if else. But honestly, I prepared for that since I wasn't using those when I worked as a QA engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a chance since I got laid off
Yeah.
pretty quickly in 3.5 months, and I had to just refresh my memory. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
I did. I Codemify. I opened it again. I found the link. And I specifically went through those sections with while loop,
Mm-hmm.
if else statement, because I asked one of our friends and ex colleague what
Mm-hmm.
questions he was asked, and he told me most likely it's algorithms and how would you loop through.
Yeah.
So, and
Yep.
I answered those, and he said, can you tell me an example? And I had basically a note next to a laptop. And the good thing he was facing, probably he had two screens and he was facing this one, looking at some stuff. Maybe he was working in parallel.
So
And I
you were
can
cheating on the interview.
I would say a little bit. I knew how to do that, but
I'm just
at
kidding.
some point I got a little bit nervous and I was like, if I have a note, what stops me just to take a look and tell myself the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
you remember is correct?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
exactly.
that I didn't know how to do that, but I just wanted to refresh my memory by the second that I had, just to take
Mm-hmm.
advantage of it.
Yeah.
But of course, if person's like looking into your eyes and you're looking somewhere, that's obviously you doing something. But I don't think that somebody would expect you to have like the answer for a specific question.
Exactly.
To be disadvantaged by what I was. So
That's cool. That's cool. All right. So that was the back end engineer and the guy number 4. It was about a 1 hour interview, right?
yeah, and he had some other questions, and he was telling me honestly, it's like if you don't know, just tell me. I just want to know if you know something like in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling him, no, I've never had experience. But the good thing to tell them if you don't know something or you do not remember exactly how to do, just to tell them. I'm a hardworking person. If I don't know something, I learn, I Google. I use Overflow Stack.
Stack Overflow.
Stack
Yep.
Overflow. Yeah, that was my favorite.
Your favorite website.
It's like if I don't know something, I Google.
Yeah.
Just to always tell them, if you don't know something, you are able to learn quickly, and there is always sources you can go through. You can Google, you can check the YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the best answer.
And you can always bring the example. Let's say I didn't know how to automate this, but I used this website, and now I know how to do it.
Yeah. It's also good to specify that you can you first read official documentation of the framework or language you use. But in 99% of the cases, if that's not available, you would Google it, as you mentioned.
And also, there was a question that I was asked. just want to tell everyone while I remember. If I wrote a framework from scratch, since probably the couple of months, of course, that I missed, would teach me how to do that. But
we did.
I just started, and that's what I told them. I've never done it 100% myself, but I know how it works. That I already was doing so much stuff. I know how the poem works. That there was, let's say, page object model with all the folders. There is specifications. There is
Nice.
There is some libraries like Chai and Mocha, and that's what I told them, that I know how to install, how to add, and how to basically automate stuff. And
there we go.
Basically, I told them that I did. That's what I said. I've never done it 100% myself, but then when I started to tell detailedly what I did, basically it's 100% from scratch.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the rest, if I haven't done myself, I just know how to do it, and I know how it gets to where it's supposed to be. Yeah,
you don't necessarily have to know everything. You can always Google it and learn it quickly.
Yep.
Well, sounds like you did great with the guy too. Well, let's switch to the guy or girl number 5, whoever was it.
It was 6 men.
6 people?
Yeah, 6 men. I mean, no, I'm telling you that there was no woman. That's what somebody told me.
Six
they like you. They like your pretty face. That's why they scheduling.
That's funny. So 6 guys. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, so who was it, and how long did it go for, or the questions that they have asked?
So 5th round was with who was it?
Must have been someone from higher ups.
It was I forgot the title. So it was a VP of technology.
There we go. Okay.
So with him, I mostly was vibe check, since I've done all those multiple rounds of checking again and again and again my technical knowledge. So mostly it was a vibe check. So he asked me again, tell me about yourself. Tell me, what do you do when you have spare time besides coding? And why startup, and why this company? Yeah.
What did you say? Can you answer those questions so people could learn from your experience?
So I already mentioned a couple of times, tell me about yourself. Not going to get back to it. What do you do besides coding? And I already realized at that point that probably it matters for them that you have spare time, and you're not actually working while you have spare time. You actually time to clear your head and relax and get with fresh mind to work. But I was honest, completely honest. I told them that I love traveling, I love camping, outdoor activities, I love camping, I love beach volleyball, I love going to concerts, shows, since this company is a ticketing system, so it was good to mention. But also I love going to concerts. And he mentioned that it was really important for them because it was actually the question that I was asked by a co-founder and CTO on the last round, since he said he worked for a big company for Fox, for many years, and it was important for him to build up the company and a strong company, and that employee is going to work for them for longer years and contribute a lot. Not to feel pressured, burnt out like it was in Fox. So
makes sense.
When he created a new company, he already knew how he wanted to see. Oh, that's so cute. Kiwi.
Okay.
Hi, Kiwi.
Pardon me for interruption. Okay, so he wanted to build a company where people enjoy working and where people do not leave within a year or so, right?
Yeah, correct. That's what he said, that most of employees of his is working for him for many, many years.
Nice. That's a good company to work for.
Yeah, because they provide good benefits, good salary, good compensations, and also they let you rest. If they see you're kind of tired, they will just tell you. That's what at least he told.
Nice.
Go home, take rest, and tomorrow we're gonna come back with fresh AC.
All right, so that was guy number 5. That was the VP of technology. So what was your interview like with the person or with the people from the 6th interview, and how long did it take?
6 hours of interview and total of seven and a half hours. No, I would say even 6 interviews in 8 hours, because almost all of the interview rounds would last more than an hour. The first one was for 2 hours, and only the last 2 was exactly just for an hour. Just a quick vibe check. Yep.
Sounds good. All right, cool. So how about the last round? Who was it with?
It was co-founder, chief technical officer.
Oh, wow. So the big guys, right?
Yeah.
How was it with them? What did they ask? Because that's the classic last round of interview when the highest, the C-level executives interview you. It doesn't always happen because a lot of times they'll be busy with their own things. But it seems like this is the somewhat startup since they have been interviewing you, right?
Yes. I feel a little bit pressured and a little bit nervous. But basically it was just a vibe check, final word from a person, top person, whether they want to hire me or not. Tell me about yourself. What do you do besides coding? Because that's what he told me, that this is important for us, for person not to be just to think all the time about work, but also have personal life, and they stand for work and life balance strongly.
Nice.
And why this company and why startup. So I was kind of prepared for that because it was already asked those questions, and mostly it was not me talking, it was him talking, and he also asked me if I had any questions and asked some questions.
Nice. Sounds like there was the last one was pretty easy since you already went through everyone. You already knew what to answer, right?
Yeah. I already had a good feeling that I'm gonna be hired since it's 6 rounds, and when you have already interviewed with such person as co-founder, probably gonna be hired, because they're not gonna spend their time on candidate that they don't like.
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely. All right, wow. So 6 rounds, 8 people, right? Or 7 people, 8 hours?
7 people, 6 rounds, and 8 hours of interview.
Jesus Christ, that's the longest interview process that I've heard so far.
It's hard to believe, and I wouldn't believe myself.
And especially the fact that you just started with your career.
And it's my first interview.
First interview and 8 goddamn hours. Hard to believe, but it seems like that wasn't too challenging since you got it.
It was challenging, but I got
it. Nice. Well, all right. Thank you for sharing it. What would you recommend people who are going through the course or about to finish the course right now? What do you think they would need to know the most in order to pass the interview in as easy way as you did? Or I shouldn't say easy. How to pass an interview just the way you did it? Can you advise anything to them?
So starting from time when I took the course, do the homework. pay attention, not to ignore, do homework on time, not to wait up until it's going to build up, because there will be a moment when you start automation part of the course and things get a little bit more complicated and you're going to have a lot of questions, but then at the same time you still have a lot of homework to catch up and your classmates already have gone so far and you just here. It's good to be on the same page and on time with everyone on homework. So that's what I set my priority to do the homework. So I was one of the people that would do homework
first.
Yeah, definitely first. So not to ignore, definitely try to put so much effort to first understand and ask for help.
Yeah.
To Google yourself. It's just like with the language, they wouldn't let you translate because they will tell you you won't memorize. So
yeah,
when you
exactly.
got help, somebody told you how to do it. No. But that's kind of my path. If somebody has a different way of doing, more than welcome.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to recognize themselves in your words when you say, oh, you have to do all of the homework on time, because if you do not, you will get a huge list in a backlog of things you have to do, and you're going to have to learn automation. You're not going to be able to catch up with those. That sounds very familiar to some people that are going through the course right now. So I hope your video will help them to understand that they should not do it this way.
Yeah, and also a lot of patience. Since it's something very, very specific. So a lot of patience and not to give up. If you already started, especially paying for the course, you need to goddamn finish it. And not to just have so much, as you said, homework in a backlog. Actually try to do it.
Yeah.
To invest, not just financially, but also.
I like when you said, if you already paid for the course, you gotta goddamn finish it. That's a good dose of motivation. All right, awesome. Thank you for jumping on a call and spending almost 40 minutes, if not longer, with us. Jesus, that's like the longest interview that we ever had. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the most useful interviews, because people will learn so much about actual interview process and the questions they get, the type of answers you should give, and also what manner should you use to give those answers. Thank you, Kristina. Pleasure seeing you again.
My pleasure.
And a couple of words. Couple of last questions. You just came back from Kazakhstan a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah, correct.
Awesome. So is your new position remote, or do you have to work in office?
So that's what I was asked, if I prefer to work from home or a hybrid. I told them that it's important to do the hybrid, to appear in the office at least once or twice a week, to be on the same page. So I'm gonna be remote worker most of the times, I would say, but they still kind of require. So I would say it's hybrid, because they would prefer to see you Monday and Wednesday when all the engineers go to office.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would say hybrid.
Hybrid. Sounds good. All right. Now we know that you can even choose if you want to be remote or hybrid, which is awesome.
Yeah, but that will be okay for them if I tell them this week I'm going to be fully remote.
So you could work from Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah.
Nice. What a life. Work for American company from Kazakhstan. That's a lot of people dream about. Yeah. That's cool. All right. Well, thanks again. And I hope we're going to catch up with you in a couple of months, years, as soon as you get the new job, and you're going to tell us more about the interview process and the job duties that you have.
Absolutely.
All righty. Thanks, Kristina. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. If you guys did last that long, if you're still here watching this video, please give me a big fat thumb up in a leave a big fat thumb up in a comment below if you got to this point, because I'm pretty sure most of people did not last that long. I want to know you personally. Anyways, thank you for joining and watching this video. I did learn a lot. I'm pretty sure you did also learn a lot. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below, or simply hit Kristina on the LinkedIn or Instagram. I'm gonna add her LinkedIn profile into our description as well. And also last but not least, reminder, August 29th, where our next group starts, where you can join our Codemify QA bootcamp, the same bootcamp that Kristina went through. In the description below, you'll find a link to sign up for the course, link to Instagram and the Telegram channels. And also, don't forget to give me big fat thumb up, subscribe to our channel below, and I'll see you next time.